welcome to another episode of Recover Loud. I'm your host, Mike Paddleford, and I recover loud. My friend Jeremy Hiltz once said that recovery from substance use disorder is synonymous with recovery from trauma. Using substances is our way to deal with the trauma, and once we quit using, we have to learn how to heal from that. Trauma can be defined as a negative emotional response within an individual to any event. Now, because we all experience things differently, based on our own knowledge and lived experience, we can't decide what might be traumatic for one over another. In the slide, they were both experiencing the same event. The limited life experience of the child allowed him to enjoy the ride, while for the dad, it was obviously very different. So what might be fun for one might be a traumatic experience for others. We also deal with trauma in a variety of ways. It can affect relationships with others and lead us down a path that we never wanted to go down, just to feel a little better about our experience. Tonight's guest, Jennifer Carter, tells her story of repeated trauma, all while trying to maintain her recovery. Why does this time feel different? Stick around to find out.
Doesn't matter where you come from, it's alright. Yeah. It doesn't matter where you come from, it's alright. Yeah. It doesn't matter where you come from, it's alright. I came up from the bottom of a bottle with rebels and desperados. It was long days and hard nights, but I had to struggle for my dream, cause nobody else could see it. I was no one to turn to somebody with just a little faith. There's nothing I can achieve. Yeah, I was going the wrong way and then I turned right. But if I could be anybody, I wanna be me. Cause it don't matter where you're from, only matter where you going. Nobody giving me none, I'm placing a bet on myself and I'm all in. I got the mind of a broke man, mixed with the heart of a lion. I'ma keep giving my all cause that's just who I am. Yeah, I'm a different breed, sprouted from a gifted seed, turned into a problem child, that was just my destiny. But if I could be anybody, I wanna be me. Yeah, I just wanna be.
I'm Jennifer Carter, and I recover loud.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Recover Loud. Tonight's guest is Jen Carter from Aroostook County.
Hi.
Hi, welcome to the show. I appreciate you coming. You don't live in Aroostook County right now.
No, I live in Bangor now.
Yeah. What was it like for you in Aroostook County? I'm also from Aroostook County. What was it like for you up there throughout an addiction and then trying to find recovery?
So I'm from a small town below Holton, and the resources there are non-existent. We used to have an AA, I think, meeting in an old church, but I don't think that happens anymore. So people don't really talk about addiction much. It's bad everywhere. Like when I started knowing about drugs when I was 12. They were around, easily accessible all through high school. Prescription drugs were big back then.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't understand that even in those small towns, it's the substance use issue is big regardless. You know, it's people are finding out in middle schools, that drugs are available.
Absolutely. I noticed different drugs started showing up in my late 20s, and the heroin epidemic that hit Aroostook County, and the meth was bad, that shake and bake that people were cooking, it was everywhere. You'd see bottles on the side of the road in my small town.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, people's houses were getting with the buses and the DEA, I mean, it was happening left and right. So our town was hit hard.
Yeah, and I mean, it goes to show it doesn't matter where you come from.
Absolutely not. It will find you. And they like our small towns because people don't talk much. And when they get everybody hooked, and it's just crazy.
Yeah. So you left there, but can you go back and, You said you knew about substances early on, and you mentioned your story involves a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
And a lot of us turn to substances as a way to escape that trauma, and help to bury that trauma and not deal with it. Mm-hmm. And I believe your story involves a lot of that. How early did trauma affect you?
So I was 6, and I was molested by a family friend, which does happen, unfortunately, quite a lot. I hid it for years, and then another traumatic thing happened in my early teens, which spurred my drug use in high school. It was easily accessible. My friend used to raid his mother's cabinet for leftover hydros or Darvocets, and then it started to get more powerful. The Oxycontins were around, and marijuana, alcohol. We have the back parties. Not everybody was doing it. I mean, in high school, not a lot of the other kids were addicted. I sought it out. It was how I handled things. It's how I was able to be in public or go to school or talk to people. I was sad and depressed and miserable, and I buried the bad things that happened to me, like most kids.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, a lot of us turn to using, to escape that trauma. But then, as we're going through life, that becomes our go-to.
It's a coping mechanism.
Exactly.
It's what's formed, and it formed in me early. I learned very young to start lying and hiding things. It was a really big thing for me to have to overcome in my recovery. I focus on healing myself more than not having to use drugs. Like everyone's like big in recovery, like, oh, I must worry about using drugs all the time. Honestly, I don't think about drugs anymore. Right. I'm worried about the little girl that was in me that I beat up for years, and now it's time for me to be nice to her.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't ask for the trauma that is inflicted on us, but we have to deal with it. And when we don't have those coping skills early on, and we don't know how to express those feelings that we're having, it becomes illogical.
And it's not that I didn't know drugs weren't bad. I mean, the DARE program was around, but I didn't believe that marijuana scrambled your brain, so I didn't take half of what they said for any bit of seriousness. But in my small community, nobody really talked about what would happen if you used drugs for any amount of time. Like, I didn't know what addiction was when I started using it to help heal myself when I was in. I didn't understand the consequences. It wasn't until much later that I learned exactly what addiction does. And it is a hard thing to beat.
Yeah.
It's a beast.
So, just like addiction, once we start using, they say we're an addict for the rest of our lives.
Right.
I also believe recovery is the same way.
Absolutely.
And when we decide that we're going to make a change for the better, we're in recovery. And then every step we take is to continue our journey and to heal ourselves. And our path is never straight. It's never linear. We're going to, so while we're trying to heal from trauma, we experience more trauma. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when we haven't fully healed, we return to using substances.
Yes.
And so when was the first time you saw recovery?
Well, I left high school and moved immediately down to Southwest Harbor. I moved down with my older sister because my family is very big in my life. I was sober down there. I got pregnant with my beautiful daughter when I was 19. When I was pregnant, me and her father moved back home and got married. And I stayed in sobriety all through my pregnancy and when Tori was 1. And I think I started using when she was around 2 again. After it was a traumatic thing, of course, that triggered it. It was a bad marriage. We weren't married for the right reasons. Lots of drugs. He was into heavy. I started finding things, and then I just back then my mentality was if I couldn't beat him, join him. Like I was trying to keep my marriage because I had it in my head. We were going to get a child, you know, and it ended up being bad. But he ended up getting arrested for something. And I was left now a single mom. And that's when I sought recovery. I knew I had to make a change. Like I was all she had. So I started going to IOP. It's an intensive outpatient program, and that was offered through Life by Design in Holton. It was one of the only drug programs I could find. AMHC offers like one-on-one drug counseling, but I was just trying to start grasping my addiction. But this program helped me realize my triggers and what was causing me to use. And it was what first opened my eyes up to a lot of coping mechanisms and realizing I have codependency and all the other compound things that the drug use has also caused. Because when you turn to drugs, it doesn't solve, it just builds your problems.
Right.
It's thriving in chaos all the time.
You know, and when I was in rehab, we did an exercise where we calculated the total amount of the cost of our addiction.
Yes, we did that too.
You know, I actually used it for, you know, the better part of 18 years. And the total cost of my addiction was like $1.8 million.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy? Where did it come from?
Where did it come from?
I know.
So, you know, I actually believe that if I hustle like I did then, you know, I can actually do something good this time.
I say that. I chase my sobriety like I used to chase my high.
Yeah.
You have to. Yeah. I believe like, and all that energy, putting all that energy into something good. Wow, what a change it can make in your life.
And honestly, you know, when we're putting that energy into something good, what's great is we're putting that energy into ourselves.
Yes.
You know, making ourselves better tomorrow than we were yesterday. Healing those traumas, finding new coping mechanisms, making connections out in the community, getting jobs, rebuilding family relationships. You know, these are all the things that, you know, we see out there as normal people stuff. And to us, they're huge accomplishments.
My last relapse, I can remember watching Friends and just watching them like laugh or go to work or go to get coffee and thinking how nice it must be just be able to get up and leave the house without having to call your dealer or making sure you have your stuff or you've got enough or you don't have to go pick up and then even when you have it, you're stressing about later already. And it's just this constant, you're never settled. You're never ever feeling peaceful.
Do you have that today?
Oh, peace? Absolutely. I do. I have a very great life. I'm blessed with a wonderful family, a supportive boyfriend, 2 cute kitties and a puppy dog. So, and a beautiful daughter who's 17, a CNA, a phlebotomist. Like, I am so proud of her. So.
And it's great to see. My daughter's doing well too. All my children are. I just got a picture of my son, who's a Marine. Right now he's out in California doing some training. And, you know, it's just great. My daughter owns a house in Caribou.
And it just feels good to be present, doesn't it? Being able to be happily present in their lives.
Be proud of them.
Yes.
And them wanting me to be a part of it. You know, and that is a gift of my recovery.
Oh, it is, and it keeps on giving. It's something my older sister and I are very close, and I have a little sister who's 10 years younger than me too, and she just had a little baby. And my family, we're so tight-knit. And this time, my recovery has been a lot of healing, not just for me, but for them. We lost my dad a couple of years ago, which really, I ended up falling really bad. It was traumatic for my whole family, but we made it through, and just seeing us thrive today, like, it's great. I'm super proud. I'm proud of my family, proud of where I come from. My community is amazing. Like, they support you when you choose. Like, I have so much support. I really do. I think that's vital. There may not be a lot of resources in the county, but there is support if you ask. And a lot of people are so afraid to ask.
And
as you said, not a lot of people talk about it.
No, they don't.
And, the stigma is still there. One of the reasons I started this show is because of the stigma I see and receive back in my home community in Aroostook County.
Absolutely, I know.
And I have decided that I can't go back there right now without support. But I can stay where I'm at, and I can recover loud, and I can reach all my friends back home. And I actually just had another friend, somebody I care about, I would call him family, reached out to me the other day and said that he's doing what he can to stay sober today. And, that I never expected this individual. I always hope, but, some people, you hold out hope and pray for the day, and sometimes that day never comes, but the day came for this individual, and I am proud to be where I am as a role model for this kid.
Exactly.
And to know that he's trying.
I have a lot of people. My Facebook, this time I've dedicated completely to my recovery. I keep it very present and loud, but it has caused my community to talk a lot. Back and forth, I talk to a lot of people through my messenger about recovery all the time. I've helped a couple people that I never thought I would personally see get into recovery or even be a part of their journey, and I helped. And I used to think it was selfish, but I love helping. It makes me feel damn good. Can I say damn? Because I'm sorry.
Yes, that's fine, actually. And, I agree with you. And, my journey started out the same. When I left rehab, I got my phone, I went into a sober house, and I switched my Facebook. I got rid of everybody that wasn't supportive of my recovery. I didn't want those connections to be easy.
Exactly.
So I started over. And now to see some of those people who I purposely didn't include reaching out, joining, getting on my Facebook, joining my recovery on the road.
Seeking you out this time for good things.
Exactly. And, I've seen your Facebook and, just posting positivity, posting positive affirmations. Those things, sometimes it's just sharing a meme, and it changes how somebody else is feeling in that moment. And, sometimes they even comment and say, I needed to hear this today.
I know.
And that's
I do
a
that.
great feeling.
It is. And I am a firm believer that I am put where I'm supposed to be. Like, I run into people who I'm meant to run into. Our lives are intertwined for a reason. I'm here right now because I'm hoping maybe somebody watching who knows me will decide, hey, I know that girl. She had it hard. But look, I mean, I'm painting on my walls. I'm painting flowers. I mean, I'm going for walks. I'm a hostess. There's so much I've gained back that I lost that I didn't think I was ever going to be again. Like, the bubbly person that I knew was in there. And now, I really am positive. My Facebook reflects me. Yeah. I stay very true to myself. And anybody who has met me will say the same. I will sit and listen. I'd rather listen to somebody talk than read, that they passed away or, they had to go back out that one last time. I will be there. I'll sit and listen.
Yeah.
It means so much. It's what I looked for, and what I so very desperately needed was that connection. Mm-hmm. I needed to know that I was still worth it, to look at and to be present in this world.
Yeah, and we all have our own experiences that we bring with us, but a lot of times we feel like we're the only one that experienced that, and it's a lonely feeling.
Yes.
So when you recover loud and somebody else says, hey, I was there too. I understand what you're going through. We can talk about it. It's such a powerful feeling to be connected to somebody else who understands. So Jen, your story's a pretty powerful story about, resiliency and trying to come back. And, this time you said it feels different, and I believe you. because I see it. I've seen your growth just through Facebook posts over the last few months. And, you know, I appreciate what you're doing because you are helping other people. And, you know, your story's valuable. So thank you for coming today to share that with us. You know, I know it's a drive for you. And, you know, so I do appreciate that. Is there anything else you'd like to say, you know, to people out there? And remember, you mentioned that, you know, your hope is that somebody that you know sees this and can relate to it. But I guarantee you that there's somebody that you don't know that's going to see this and relate to you. And they're going to say, that's me. And I can do this. And, you know, just keep that in mind because it is powerful.
Why I know it's different this time, I don't think I ever fully answered. I chose to be accountable this time. It was my decision. I checked myself into detox. I did the work. I'm doing the work. No one's coming to save you. There are plenty of people willing to guide you and show you the way, but you got to get up yourself. And this time I stood up, and I don't plan on falling back down this time.
All we can do is show you the love. We can live by example, prove that, you know, this does work if you work it.
Another thing is we have choices every day. I used to be a good person who made multiple bad choices on the daily. Now I am a good person who makes good choices.
Yeah.
It's all in our control.
Yeah, and sometimes just taking a second before making the choice gives you enough time to say,
Oh,
I really want to do this.
I have to stop myself. I mean, it takes practice to change years of bad habits, and it's a constant thing. And I have to remind myself still that I'm human.
Yeah.
And I am allowed to stumble and have bad days, because we all are. But I do recover loud because I want others to know that no matter where you are in life or how low you feel, you are never alone. Yeah. And we are always here to help. Someone's always willing to help. I know that for a fact. I've met enough of them. There's so many heroes in my life.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And I'm sure that you're the hero in someone else's life as well.
Well, I hope so.
Yes. Thanks again, Jen.
Thank you. I've enjoyed being here.
Thanks for watching tonight's episode of Recover Loud. You can watch us on YouTube starting Saturday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern. On Thursday nights, PMC Channel 5 at 7 o'clock Eastern Time.
Hey guys, welcome to Tea Talk. I'm T, the director of Recover Loud, and we're going to do the check-in. We're here with Jennifer, and basically we just say what we're thankful for this week and a goal we have accomplished and what we're trying to accomplish for next week. And I'll start. So this week I accomplished a lot of things at work, really. My hand was injured recently and I wasn't able to do things the right way, so I'm thankful for that. And I also am going on a recovery talk show. It's on the Facebook channel Hard Knocks Talks, called Phoenix Fire, on Tuesday, 2 p.m. So I'm going to volunteer at a local warming shelter in Auburn, and that's about it for me this week. For you?
I started a new job, so I'm very grateful for that, because I just moved and feel like I'm getting a little more settled. I'm grateful for being on this show, actually, in Recovering Loud. This was a great goal that I feel very excited to say I've accomplished. Spread some more awareness on addiction and recovery. So it's been an honor, and I'm super grateful to be here.
Thank you for coming. Remember,
Recover Loud!
Recover Loud, everyone.
Like snort. So every time I call, you pick up the phone and always reminding me that I'm not alone. And even when I'm scared and my feet are frozen, you help me keep it going like a semicolon. Even if I'm lost, you helping me light the way. And even in the dark, you always keeping me safe. And everything I've lost don't compare to what I've gained. So no matter what it costs, yeah, I'll be willing to pay. Cause every time I call, you pick up the phone and always reminding me that I'm not alone. And even when I'm scared and my feet are frozen, you help help me keep it going like a semicolon. So I'ma follow your steps for all of the way. I put my faith in you and walk on the waves. And if I stumble a bit and fall on my face, you come and save me with all of your grace. Yeah, thank God.